Right then, welcome back to Iron Sports. Cavalier FC recently returned from the Gothia Cup in Sweden, where they ended second behind the Nigerian club Tiki Taka Academy, this in the B final. But what were the marked differences in talent level, professionalism and resources identified by the Jamaican club whilst there? Well, joining us on Iron Sports to take an in-depth look at what took place in Sweden is a technical director of Cavalier Football Club, Rudolph Speid. Rudolph, welcome back to the Iron Sports set. I know you're no stranger.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Good. First up, congratulations on how you performed at this prestigious tournament in Sweden.
Thank you.
I understand it's a tournament that hosted over 1,000 clubs. Very prestigious youth tournament from the age range of 8 all the way up to about 17, 18. First up for you, how would you mark your own performances at the tournament itself?
Well, initially we started slowly because our first game was, we have never played on a synthetic turf before as a team. So we lost the first game, and that kind of set us back. And that's one of the reasons why we were classified in the B category, because we actually, in the first round, preliminary round, we won one, draw one, and lost one.
All right. It's a tournament that over the years has hosted many of the top clubs from around the world. When you look at the talent that was on display, how would you rank where the Cavalier matched up with these clubs?
Well, Tiki Taka came second last year in the A category, the team that we played in the finals. Deportivo de Alves is a La Liga team that plays, their under-17s would compete with the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona, so that's a caliber team. Leeds United was there. Right to Dream, who actually won the tournament, was there. Also, the 12 best Premier League Swedish club was there with their talent. And one of the better Swedish club, BK Häcken, who is the host, we actually drew with them in the final match of our preliminary zone. Of course, we defeated Deportivo de Alves, and as you know, that team will probably sign in a couple of those players to their professional ranks in the near future. So Cavalier was, talent-wise, was as good or better than most of the teams on show.
Yeah, because oftentimes we hear this, that at a particular age, the youth level in particular, Jamaican young players are on par with the rest of the world. So I'm sure this tournament would have been proof of that. Yeah, but what was the reception you got as well, being the first Jamaican team to be there? You know, wherever we go, we bring that Caribbean flavor, and
right.
You know, persons tend to love that Jamaican flavor. Spirit.
That was a story by itself.
Yeah.
In the opening ceremony, there was 50,000 people in the stadium, right?
Wow.
Rampacked, and they paid to come in the stadium. When we went in, they were there with their activities on stage, and then they said, "Jamaicans, your time." So when we came up, you know, we had our flag dressed in Jamaican colors because we forego our white, you know. The guy started to sing Buffalo Soldier, and every single person in the stadium was singing Buffalo Soldier, and they sang it for over almost 3 minutes. We have the videos that we probably could share to you, but that was probably one of the highlights of our visit, because we never knew so many persons knew Jamaica and so loved Jamaica. Yeah. Bob Marley, Usain Bolt, they were the favorite persons that they were talking about right throughout.
And then in terms of accommodation and so on, you know, were there any challenges for you?
Oh, lots of challenges. Yes. So one of the first challenge we had was that the players didn't want to eat the food.
Right.
I thought the food was good because I am an experienced traveler. But if you are traveling overseas for the first time, you're getting cold cuts, you're getting bread, they don't do a lot of rice. Right. But the meals were balanced. You had your eggs, you had your orange juice, you had your milk, you had your cheese, you had your ripe banana, you had a apple. Right. It was very balanced meal.
Typical energy food.
Right, for the type of activities. But the players are not used to cold cuts because of the nature of the country where they store things. So it didn't go down well. The players refused to eat the food for long periods.
How would this have impacted their performance?
Oh, definitely. The last game, we knew we probably couldn't have won the last game because we played Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. every single day, and we were not eating properly. So and the competition was getting better. So I thought we'd have a problem on the finals, and we did. We just couldn't muster any energy.
What was the scoreline, by the way, in that?
The final, we lost.
Yeah,
we lost the final 2-0 to Tiki Taka. Both goals were scored in the second half. By the time we were just really on fumes. So that was the first one. The second problem that we had, the sun only went down for like 3-4 hours.
Right.
It went down 11 o'clock in the night, and it came up back about 3 o'clock in the morning. So our players, not used to sleeping during the day, they were going to their beds like 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then the sun came up and came through the window, and they were waking up at 3 o'clock. So that was another problem that we had. And it starts because of our lack of experience in traveling and understanding how to deal with those things.
But in respect to the overall exposure that they would have gotten, how would you describe this? And would you have or encourage other Jamaican teams, club teams, to make the trip to Sweden?
Oh, definitely. Well, I must tell you, when we went there, by the second day, we had a host of Jamaicans came down, and all the Jamaicans came down and started to talk to us and wanted to help us. That actually helped because they actually cooked food for us, Jamaican food, a couple of days, so the players were able to eat Jamaican food, and it helped them for about 2 or 3 days, right? But the things that we learned at the tournament is that it is difficult for Jamaica to compete with those clubs overseas because of the way we go about our football. First thing, their resources, we are only able to carry 16 players because of monetary constraint. Teams use up to 30 players against us. So they were able to rest players, bring in a different squad the following day, etc., right? Also, their players in the under-17 ranks, they actually play football first and go to school in their spare time. In Jamaica, you know, we go to school first and play football in our spare time. So that's a big difference in terms of how those players are educated in the nuisance of the game, etc. But raw talent, we have raw talent over all those teams that we have seen, including the La Liga teams.
And speaking of raw talent, who would be some of the players who would have stood out in your eyes there in Sweden?
Well, Nico Shea-Moore was probably the most consistent player. He just played exceptionally well in all the games. Then there was Omar Thompson. He was very good also. Daniel Russell, the goalkeeper, he was excellent. And we had very good individual performance, like from Shanil Thomas of JC and Dwayne Atkinson from KC. Those were excellent players. Yeah. But the two players who stood out was Jamai Tope. He never missed a tackle. He won like 100% of the high balls. He was commanding at the back. After the first game, we kept clean sheet to almost to the final. He was excellent at the back. Yeah. But the player who everybody in Sweden was talking about was Kaim Paris. Yeah. There was a couple of moments of magic that people would have to remember. So when we were walking on the road, people was calling Paris by name, and I was saying, where these people know you're from? Right. I mean, people were following the Jamaican team so much. And
to the point where we understand there have been interest from clubs in Paris and Topi.
Oh, definitely. You know, all the scouts and the managers and the owners, they actually come to the stadium, sit in one section and watch the games. A lot of these scouts were saying that Paris, Topi, and the player from Right to Dream were the three best players in the tournament. Wow. So, but Paris, they said a player like Paris would normally not come to a country like Sweden. With that talent, he would have gone to some other country, Belgium, some other, you know, country high up the chain. So they were very interested in him. A lot of clubs come and say, we wanted him on loan, but there's another club who really wants to have a long-term relationship with him.
Which club is that?
Well, I don't want
to say. Sports. I don't want to say. Can let us know before we wrap up?
I will, but there's clubs that want to have a long-term relationship. But there's nothing concrete as yet. We're just discussing conditions and terms. It should be good. Topi is the same. There's discussion ongoing. But there are more after they saw both of them play, they liked both of them, but because Paris, you know, had some magic moments, really good magic moments, their eyes was always just on him.
Rudolph Speid, thank you so very much for joining us here on Iron Sports, and we'll definitely be following up on those particular players and the interest shown in them from European clubs.
Thank you.
All right, then, we take a break here on Iron Sports, and when we come back, we're going to be heading to the chess table. So come.